Good evening and welcome to our show, Brookfield Public Advocate. I'm your host, Bruce Senek. Tonight we're continuing our series on the different political parties here in Connecticut. This is our third show in the series, and we'll be discussing the Party of Lincoln, the Republican Party. I'd like to remind our viewers why we decided to do this series of shows. Our goal is to inform and educate the folks in and around Brookfield on issues of importance that sometimes go unreported by the local media. We also provide a venue for those that would like to offer a differing opinion, sort of a point-counterpoint. We'll be having an important election in the fall, and I've reached out to both sides of the aisle, as well as to some third-party candidates offering opportunities to appear on the Advocate. If you think Connecticut's election process is just about who gets the most votes wins, then stick around, pay close attention, and take notes, because there will be a quiz at the end of the show. This evening's show will help to inform viewers of how this process, with a question mark, as it is very different, how it works, as it is very different from some of the neighboring states where many of you are originally from. This leads me to tonight's guest, tonight's topic, the Brookfield Town Republican Party. In doing a little research for tonight's show, I came across some interesting statistics. Brookfield, with a population of 16,657, has a total of 9,931 registered voters. Of that total, 3,536 are Republicans, 2,103 are Democrats, 4,175 are unaffiliated, and 117 are listed as other. Those percentages, as a former New York resident, are really quite surprising when you consider 35.6% are registered Republican, 21% are Democrat affiliation, unaffiliated are 42%, and other are 1.2%. Tonight's guest is Marty Flynn, chair of the Brookfield Republican Town Committee. First, a little background on Marty. Marty grew up in Elmsford, New York, and attended Archbishop Stepanek High School in White Plains. After graduating, he enrolled and completed an apprenticeship plumbing program, while at the same time attending a 2-year civil technologies program at Westchester Community College. In 1989, he married his wife Carol, and shortly thereafter moved to the Netherlands, otherwise known as Holland. When working as a plumber, he took Dutch lessons and studied at night and earned his bachelor's degree in business management at Webster University's European campus near The Hague. When they moved back to the States, Marty opened up Martin Flynn Plumbing. He's lived in Brookfield for 14 years now and has a son, Sean, and a daughter, Samantha. Marty, thanks for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Marty, when we were talking, arranging for the show this evening, you'd sent along some information to me that I thought of really very interesting. But first, I'd like to start by what got you interested in politics here in the area?
Well, I think the standard answer is that I wanted to give back to the community. And I think that became the reason after a while. But my first interest, I just found it to be very fascinating, the whole process. I was approached by Bill Tinsley and a fellow by the name of Joe Baker, who's passed on in a plane crash, and Jerry Murphy and some others. And they were putting together the RUFB, Republicans United for Brookfield, and asked me to run for the Zoning Board of Appeals. And so I just jumped into the process. We stood outside Dunkin' Donuts. We passed out leaflets. We worked really hard, and we were successful. And I've always liked the process. I like going to the caucus, and I always thought, as a plumber, most of my work is rather informal, the way that I dress and things that I'm engaged in, but I like the formality of the process, and it's a little bit outside of my comfort zone, or it was when I got started. So that's what interested me, the whole process and how things worked, and it was something that interested me.
Tell the viewers what boards and commissions that you've been on and for how long.
Well, I've been on the Zoning Board of Appeals. I serve as its chairman for the past 8 years. Also, for the past 8 years, I've served on the Water Pollution Control Authority. Most people know it as the Sewer Commission, and I've served as its chairman as well. Also, for the past 8 years, I've been on the Brookfield Republican Town Committee. I've served as its vacancy committee chairman, and for the past 3 years, 3.5 years, I've served as chairman of the Republican Town Committee in Brookfield. Others may have also seen me as the town meeting moderator for the budget, and I've done that the last 5 years, the annual town meeting.
Mm-hmm. Good. Would you tell the audience a little bit about how you see the philosophy of the Republican Party?
Well, I think there's all sorts of differing opinions about what makes a Republican. I thought I knew before I got involved, but I was exposed to all different schools of thought as it relates to that. And one of the things I've tried to do as town committee chairman was to come up with a set of guiding principles. What is it that unites us so that we can view some of the issues through those principles? Because issues come and go, but your principles should remain the same. And I can give you some examples. We're going to be voting on these probably the next meeting, and some of them might be along the lines of protecting the rights of the individual. People have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, but there is no guarantee of equal results. I think we want to see equal opportunities, but not guaranteed equal results. We believe that we need to follow the Constitution without overinterpretation. We believe that the strength of our nation lies with the individual, and that each person's dignity, freedom, and ability and responsibility must be honored. We believe that government must practice fiscal responsibility and allow individuals to keep more of the money they earn. We believe the proper role of government is to provide for people only those critical functions that cannot be performed by individuals or private organizations, and that the government that governs best is the government that governs least. And those are some of the principles that we're trying to put forward, and we'll put them on our website, and we think they're important.
Yeah. Previous to, you mentioned, I guess you're going to be voting at the next meeting. Has there been...
Well, what we've done is we've looked at what other town committees have put together, other Republican organizations, and I've asked people on the town committee to bring forward their recommendations for guiding principles, and we have a bylaws committee that Jerry Fredericks heads, and he's consolidating all the principles, and we're going to pick the top 5, and those are going to be our guiding principles.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Again, in before our program and in talking and lining up tonight's show, you kept talking about the process. What is it, and why is that important?
Well, the process is very important with us on the Republican Town Committee. The Republican Town Committee is made up of 25 members who are elected for 2-year terms. And I'm the chairman of that committee. And what I do is I appoint a vacancy committee. It's made up of 5 members, one of which is the chairman who sets the agenda. And it's their job to go out and find volunteers to serve on the many boards that we have here in town, but also to put together a slate of candidates, which is what we've done in the last 3 months. So once that vacancy committee makes a decision, they present it to the whole town committee, the 25. Then they vote on it. Then we go to a caucus, which we're going to have next Tuesday on the 26th. And all the Republicans in town can come, and they're going to have a say in who those candidates are. And then if necessary, we'll have a primary, and then the general election. So we're moving always from smaller groups of people to larger groups of people, so we can be more inclusive and to get a better sense for what the Republicans in town want to see. You might have noticed that the Southbury RTC decided that they were going to decide their slate at the town committee meeting and not to hold a caucus. What we've tried to do in this Republican Town Committee is to ensure that that will never happen, that we put it in our bylaws that our municipal slate will be decided at a caucus. And we also put in there that our bylaws cannot be changed without a caucus. And that sort of ensures that all the Republicans in town will have a say in who the Republicans are that run in the municipal slate or in any of the slates.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. More openness and disclosure is always a good thing. I'd like your opinion about something that, again, being in town now 6.5 years and moving from Westchester County, New York, about this minority representation, how it works. The reason I ask is, I recall when I first moved here from Westchester, I attended a candidates debate. And I recall vividly the Democrat candidate for lower selectman saying to the audience something to the effect, no, not an exact quote, but something to the effect, though I will become a selectman, I would like to earn it by winning through the vote. Frankly, I thought that was very odd. Again, that's not, the way New York politics works. Whoever gets the most votes wins. So I thought that, and that was before, though, I learned about this minority representation.
It's actually majority limitations,
well,
and it is confusing, and I don't think most people have a clue as to how it works. So very simply stated, I would say in the last election, when we were electing our U.S. Congress and Senate, you'll notice that Brookfield carried all the Republican candidates by a wide margin. And so the question is, well, if that's true, and we had a 67% turnout, and all our Republican candidates won, why do we have Democrat people holding office in the town of Brookfield? And the best example I can give is the Board of Finance. The Republicans ran 4 candidates, and the Democrats ran 2 candidates. And all 4 of the Republican candidates had more votes than the 2 Democrats. But the 2 Democrats got on anyway. And the two higher vote getters got on, and the 2 lower vote getters got on. And the people in the middle, the 2 Republicans that didn't get on, had more votes than the Democrats. And that's true of the school board. It's true of the Planning Commission, the Zoning Commission, the Zoning Board of Appeal. We have majority limitations. And most people think that if you get more votes than the other candidate, then you win. But that's just not the case.
All right. Now, that's not unique to Brookfield. That's statewide?
Yeah, that's statewide.
Yeah, that is very interesting.